Good morning, students. In the previous lecture, we completed our chapter number 6, thermodynamics. So, in this lecture, we are going to start our next chapter, that is equilibrium. Okay, in the last example, before we start the exercise, I told you that this topic for the last example was belong to the equilibrium, and now we are going to elaborate more about that. Okay, but before we start, let me tell you that the introduction, then your first topic, equilibrium in physical process, and after that equilibrium as a dynamic equilibrium in a chemical equilibrium. This much of topic has been deducted from your syllabus. So we are going to start our chapter from topic number 7.3, law of chemical equilibrium and equilibrium constant. Law of chemical equilibrium and equilibrium constant. But before we start, let's discuss some of the fundamental thing about the equilibrium. Okay, the equilibrium word has itself a meaning. Equilibrium means balance. Equilibrium means balance. Balance in the reaction. Balance between product and reagent. That is called equilibrium. Let's discuss the condition of the equilibrium. Before we start, let us take one chemical equation, a common chemical equation. Suppose A mole of compound A reacts with B mole of compound B, which is a reversible reaction, gives me C mole of compound C and D mole of compound D. Suppose this is our chemical reaction, and if we take all the moles equal to 1, our reaction will be A plus B gives me C plus D. Suppose small a, small b, small c and small d equal to 1. So A plus B gives me C plus D. Okay. Now conditions for the equilibrium. The first condition, our container must be closed. Our container must be closed. That means if we take an open container, matter from the container will be evaporated. So amount will be changed. But for the equilibrium, we will need a constant amount. That's why container must be closed. Second condition, reaction must be reversible. That means reaction will go two ways, reagent to the product and product to the reagent. Reaction should work both ways, reagent to the product and product to the reagent. That means this is forward reaction and this is backward or reverse reaction. Forward means A plus B gives me C plus D, and backward, or you can say reverse, means C plus D gives me A plus B. Okay, reaction must be forward and backward, and that's why arrow has been changed. Instead of a one-way arrow, there is a two-way arrow. Okay. Third condition, factors affecting equilibrium, temperature, pressure, volume, amount must be constant. Factors affecting equilibrium must be constant. We cannot change any factor's value. After that, equilibrium will be attained. Okay, what happens at the equilibrium? At initial stage, reagent was maximum and product was 0. As reaction start, the amount of product reagent will decrease and product will increase. At some time, after some time, reagent becomes constant. After decreasing, reagent becomes constant, and product after increasing becomes constant. That means reagent decreases, becomes constant. Product increases, becomes constant. Why they become constant? Because now rate will be same. Which rate? Forward reaction and backward reaction rate will be same. That means amount of reagent converted to product and amount of product converted to reagent will be same. That's why both becomes constant. So at equilibrium, concentration of product and concentration of reagent will be constant. Okay. Now to define equilibrium, let's go through one particular scenario. Any chemical reaction occur in the nature attains equilibrium. Any chemical reaction occurs in a nature is going to attain equilibrium. Doesn't matter how it is going to happen, it will happen for sure. Equilibrium will be there in every single reaction. But there is a catch over here. Some reaction attains equilibrium at the end. Suppose reaction is at the end, reagent is very less, product is very much more. At that time equilibrium occurs, so we guess that this reaction is completed, and we did not think about the equilibrium, but equilibrium is there, but that happened at the end of the reaction. Some of the equilibrium occurs before the reaction starts. That means product is negligible, reagent is more. So we thought that reaction has not been occurred at all. So that reaction becomes at equilibrium at an initial stage. And some of the reaction attains equilibrium at between somewhere, where amount of reagent will be measurable and amount of product will be measurable. That particular case will be studied over here, not the end case, not the initial case, only middle case. Okay. That means every single reaction attains equilibrium in nature. Okay. Now let's talk about the rate of the reaction. Rate means speed of the reaction. Speed of the reaction depends on the amount of taken. More reagent, more speed. Less reagent, less speed. That means reaction speed depends on the amount of reagent. Okay. So for the forward reaction, RF, it depends. That means it is directly proportional to the concentration of reagent, directly proportional to the concentration of reagent. So concentration of A and concentration of B. That square bracket represents the concentration. Remember that. Likewise, for the reverse reaction, or you can say backward reaction, RB, backward, is proportional to the backward reagent. If reaction is going backward, what will be our reagent? C and D. So it will be directly proportional to the concentration of C and concentration of D. Okay. Remove the proportionality symbol, then we have to apply a constant. So rate of the forward reaction will be equal to Kf into A concentration and B concentration. Okay. Likewise, for the backward reaction, rate will be equal to Kb into concentration of C into concentration of D. At equilibrium, rate of the forward reaction equal to rate of the reverse reaction at equilibrium. Therefore, at equilibrium, RF will be equal to RB. forward rate and reverse rate will be equal. That's why compare the values. Kf into concentration of A and concentration of B will be equal to Kb into concentration of C and concentration of D. Now constant will be on the one side and concentration will be on the one side. So Kf upon Kb is equal to concentration of C into concentration of D divided by concentration of A into concentration of B, and that will be known as our Kc, concentration constant of equilibrium. Okay, so Kc has two formula, Kf upon Kb and concentration of product divided by concentration of reagent. That is our first formula for this chapter. Okay, for this particular reaction. Look at this. This derivation is not included in your syllabus. They haven't given in your textbook. So write it down in your book. Okay. Now this was our reaction and all the moles was 1. Suppose this reaction has been considered, then mole will be the power of A. So A has the A mole, that's why A raised to A and B raised to B. Likewise A raised to A and B raised to B. Over here C raised to C and D raised to D, because number of moles will be the power of concentration. So the formula will also change, A raised to A, B raised to B, C raised to C and D raised to D. That's why our final formula for Kc will be equal to C raised to number of moles of C into D raised to number of moles of D divided by A raised to number of moles of A into B raised to number of moles of B compound. Okay, look at this. A mixture of reagent and product in the equilibrium state is called equilibrium mixture. Mixture of reagent and mixture of product at equilibrium is called equilibrium mixture. In this section, we shall address a number of important questions about the composition of equilibrium mixture. What will be the amount of product? What will be the amount of reagent at a equilibrium? Okay. What is the relationship between the concentration of reagent and product in the equilibrium mixture? That formula has been already derived. How can we determine equilibrium concentration from initial concentration? Using initial concentration, how can we derive equilibrium concentration? That we will learn in the numericals. Okay. What factors can be exploited to alter the composition of equilibrium mixture? Okay, how can we change equilibrium mixture? How it is affected? The last question is particularly important when choosing the condition for synthesis of hydrogen, ammonia, calcium carbonate. We will discuss it later on in this chapter, but right now let us derive the formula. Let us consider a general reversible reaction. A plus B gives me C plus D. Likewise, C plus D gives me A plus B, where A and B are reagent and C and D is products. Okay. In the balanced chemical equation, on the basis of equilibrium experimental studies, chemist Cato Maximilian Guldberg and Peter Waage proposed in 1864 that concentration of equilibrium mixture are related to the equilibrium equation, and that will be the equation which we have already derived, Kc equal to concentration of C into D divided by concentration of A into B. Okay, where Kc is the equilibrium constant. Okay, equilibrium equation is also known as a law of mass action. This equation is also known as a law of mass action because in the early days of the chemistry, concentration was known as a active mass. It was another name of the concentration, active mass. In order to appreciate their work better, let us consider a reaction between gaseous H2 and I2. Okay, they have taken one reaction, H2 plus I2. Okay, let's calculate this. So H2 plus I2 gives me 2HI. Now use the Kc formula. So what will be the Kc for this reaction? Concentration of product Hi and number of moles will be the power, so raised to 2 divided by concentration of reagent H2. Okay, so this will be the formula for the reaction, but we have to prove it. We have to prove this formula. For that, they have taken 6 experiments. Look at over here, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6. 2 different type of experiments has been considered in this particular manner. Okay, initial concentration. Look at this. Initial concentration means at the beginning of the reaction, what amount of compound was taken, that is called initial concentration. Equilibrium concentration means concentration when equilibrium attained. Now look at this. In the first experiment, amount of H2 is 2.4. Look at this, 2.4 into 10 raised to minus 2. That means 0.024 was the concentration of H2, and at the equilibrium it is 0.0114. So 0.024 minus 0.0114, that means concentration of H2 in first experiment. Okay, how much concentration was decreased? Amount of H2 used in the reaction is equal to 0.0126 molar. Look at this, 2.4 minus 1.14 into 10 raised to minus 2. Likewise, look at the I2, 0.0138 minus 0.012. Sorry, 0.0138 minus 0.0012. Again same answer will be there. I2 was also used 0.0126 molar. You can simply subtract initial minus equilibrium value and you can get the amount used for the reaction. Okay, look at this, and both are same, and that will be equal to the amount of HI formed. Look at this, 2.52. If you add these two, you will get the amount of HI. Look at this, and that will be equal to 0.0252. Look at this in the table here. That means H2 and I2 used equally and forms double HI. Look at this over here, 2.4 minus 0.92, 1.48, 1.68 minus 0.20, 1.48. You can verify these using these values. and you will get exactly the same values every time. Equal amount of H2NI2 used and double amount of HI formed. Equal amount of H2NI2 used, double amount of HI formed. Okay. Now let's discuss about case number 5 and 6. In this reaction they take a reverse reaction. That means initial concentration was of HI, and from this equal amount of H2NI2 is formed. Look at this, equal amount of H2NI2 is formed. That means for the equilibrium H2NI2 will be used equal in amount, and if we take 5th and 6th case, equal amount of H2NI2 will be formed. Okay, so that was the experiment they have taken. Look at this, this was the reaction. Now 6 set of experiments with varying initial conditions were performed, starting with only gaseous H2NI2 in the sealed reaction vessel. First 4 experiment was taken like this, and 5th and 6th was taken with HI, reversible reaction. Experiment 1, 2, 3, 4 were performed taking different concentration of H2NI2, and with the time it was observed that intensity of the purple color remains constant. What is the intensity of purple color? I2. I2 has the purple color, that's why. And equilibrium was attained. When intensity becomes constant, equilibrium is attained. Similarly, in experiment 5 and 6, equilibrium was attained opposite direction. Data obtained from all the 6 sets is given in the table, which we have already understood. So what is the result over here? It is evident from experiment 1, 2, 3, 4 that number of moles of dihydrogen H2 and number of moles of iodine reacted are same. Used H2 and used I2 is same. Look at this in all the cases. Okay, as well as number of H2 formed will be half. All the 3 will be equal because H2 form is double. So if you divide it by 2, all 3 will be equal. So it is explained in 5th and 6th experiment also that H2 and I2 both forms equally. Knowing the above facts, in order to establish the relationship between concentration of the reagent and product, we can form a formula HI concentration divided by H2 and I2 concentration. But look at this, equilibrium concentration, okay, EQ. If we use this equation, these type of values was obtained. It is very different, it is not a constant value. That means we are missing something, we are missing power of HI. Look at this, it is only one power. If we take HI square, then and then our equation will be right, and then we will get a constant values. So our final equation will be HI square divided by H2 into I2, which we have already derived. Look at this, HI square upon H2 upon into I2. This is called equilibrium constant Kc. We find that this experiment gives constant values in all the 6 cases. It can be seen that in this expression of the power of concentration, look at this, the power of concentration of reactants and product are actually the stoichiometric coefficient of the equation for the chemical reaction. The HI raised to 2, this 2 is actually this one, the stoichiometric coefficient of HI, and that will be our power, and we have already derived the formula for that. Look at this, we have already derived the formula for that, C raised to C, D raised to D divided by A raised to A, B raised to B. Okay, so Kc will be equal to HI square divided by H2 into I2. Generally the equation EQ equilibrium has been omitted. That means we are not going to write EQ every single time, because Kc formula only includes the equilibrium values. Okay. Now this particular equation has been written in the words: at a given temperature, product of concentrations of a reaction products raised to the respective stoichiometric coefficient in the balanced chemical equation divided by the product or the multiplication of the concentration of reactants raised to their individual stoichiometric coefficient at a constant value. This is known as the equilibrium law or law of the chemical equilibrium. That means our particular equation has been written in the words: the multiplication or the product of the products raised to their stoichiometric coefficient divided by product of the reagents raised to their stoichiometric coefficient will be equal to the equilibrium constant, or this is known as a chemical law of equilibrium, where ABCD is the equilibrium concentration of the reactant. Now they have given us this reaction: 4NH3 plus 5O2 gives us 4NO plus 6H2O. What will be the Kc for this reaction? It is very easy. Concentration of product raised to the power 4 will be the power of NO into H2O, power 6 molar there, that's why 6 will be the power, divided by concentration of NH3 divided power will be 4 because of the 4 moles into concentration of O2, 5 moles are there, that's why 5 power will be there. Look at this, see. Okay, now some important cases. Look at this. Suppose we reverse this reaction. Suppose we are going to reverse this reaction. That means 2Hi gives me H2 plus I2. We are writing the reaction in a opposite manner. So what will be the Kc will for that? Suppose it is Kc dash. It will be equal to concentration of H2 into concentration of I2 divided by concentration of Hi square. Look at this. This is the completely opposite of our equation that we have derived over here. It is opposite. That's why it is reciprocal of the forward reaction. So Kc dash will be equal to 1 upon Kc. If you write it down over here in the denominator of the denominator, it will be equal to Kc. So we can say that if we write reaction in the opposite direction, Kc will be also the reciprocal. So Kc dash equal to 1 upon Kc. Remember this relation. If we multiply our reaction by any values, suppose we multiply our reaction by 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 H2 plus 1 by 2 I2 gives me Hi. So for this reaction, Kc dash will be equal to concentration of Hi divided by H2 raised to 1 by 2 into I2 raised to 1 by 2, right? And if you take 1 by 2 of this one, if you take 1 by 2 of this one, you will get our Kc, because 2 cancel and 1 by 2 will be there, right? So that means if you multiply reaction by 1 by 2, your Kc will be powered by 1 by 2, right? So what was the relation over here? Kc dash will be equal to Kc raised to n. If you multiply your reaction by n, Kc will be raised to n. Look at this. If you write reaction in opposite direction, Kc will be opposite of your Kc original. So equilibrium constant for the reverse reaction is the inverse of the equilibrium constant for the forward direction, only opposite of forward direction. Suppose you multiply your reaction by 1 by 2, then Kc will be also multiplied by 1 by 2, as I told you. That's why there are, if you multiply reaction by n, Kc will be raised to n. So for your original reaction, Kc is equal to Kc. If you reverse the reaction, Kc will be reciprocal, and if you multiply it by n, Kc will be powered by n. Okay. So that was all for this this particular chapter. This particular lecture. Please read the portion which is not included in your syllabus. So read this chapter very carefully up to the problem number 7.1. We will discuss problem number 7.1 in next lecture. Thank you so much.